So to make our calculator a really advanced calculator, we need to include more functions because we only have 4 functions and we are missing out on a lot of features that we can add or a lot of functions that we can add to our application and make it a really advanced application, because we have many functions here. We have the a sine, the a tan, the a tan 2, the also the radians, the a cosh, the a sine h, the a tan h. So we have many functions. You can add all of these functions to your application, and it's going to be a very advanced application, not just advanced, but very advanced application. So let me add a few of these in our application and test that. So I'm gonna, for example, I'm gonna add this log. So I'm gonna add, let me just pick out these. So I'm gonna add the log. I'm gonna also add the exponential. I'm gonna also add, let's pick out some well-known functions such as the, let me scroll and show you a very common function, which is the I think these functions, the hyperbolic functions. These functions are common in engineering and mathematics, so you can add these functions as well. So let me add these functions to my application. So in my application here, I'm gonna import the exp and also the log and also the a cosh, the a sine h, the a tan h as well, which is common, and also the a sine as well, and a cosine. And of course, as I told you, you can add as many functions as you want. It doesn't matter because you already have the logic ready for you, ready to work for you. So here, before we do anything here, we need to include this in the advanced.html. So in the advanced.html, you need to add these options. So I'm gonna copy one of these. Let me copy this one and paste it many times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think 7 times. And then here we need the log, and here it's gonna be log. We need the exp, and here it's gonna be exp, and we need the a sine h and the a cosine h or cosh, the a tan h, and we also need the a cosine and a sine, a cosine and a sine. And we don't need this last one. I'm going to remove this last one. And finally, I'm going to here change these to a sine h, and a cosine h, and also a tan h, and then a sine and a cosine. So this is going to be a sine, and this one is going to be a cosine. And here select, you can tell the user select a function, because we want to be very descriptive and let the user know what we are talking about here. So we need to select a function, not anything. So here I'm going to say select a function. And finally, in the logic, we need to use if statement to determine which function the user has selected. So I'm gonna just here say else if the operation is equal to, first we have the log, then I'm gonna say the result is gonna be equal to log, and then we pass the first number, and then the note here, you can type whatever note you want. I'm gonna say log has been calculated successfully, or just calculated. And then we have also many other functions. Let me just copy this block and paste it many times because I don't want to repeat myself. So I'm gonna here paste it 1 and 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then 5 and then 6. So we have we have the log, and then we have the exp, and the function is going to be obviously exp, and then here I'm going to say exp, and here the operation a sin h, and I'm going to say here a sin h, and then I'm going to say a sin h, and here a cosine, a cosh, and the function is going to be a cosh, and here a cosh, and here a tan h, and the function is a tan h, and here a tan h, and finally we have two functions, the a sine, and here a sine and a cosine, here a sine and here a cosine. And you need to double check because you don't want to make mistakes here, so make sure that you don't have any typos. And then finally we just return. We already have the code for the return. Let me save everything, and let me head on over back to the browser to test. So in the browser, let me first refresh, and then we have many functions. You will see that we have many functions. As you can see, we have all of these functions now. Let's try the log here. I'm gonna pass 10, and then I'm gonna click on calculate, and as you can see, we have this result 2.3, and here it says log has been calculated. Let's pass 10, and then I'm gonna say exp, and then calculate, and as you can see, we got the value. Let's use the a sign, and then I'm gonna pass also 10, and then calculate, and as you can see here it says no function has been selected because we clearly have a problem with this. Here we have a typo. As I told you, we have here, you need to double check, so I have here a typo. It should be a sin h, and here a sin h. And let me save and refresh one more time. And now, as you can see, we got the number, we got the value, and we got the message. Let's try the last function, for example, this one, a cos, and pass 10, and then calculate. And as you can see, we have an error. It's a mathematical error, so we don't have a typo or anything. It's just a mathematical error, and we need to work on that mathematical error. So we need to work on that mathematical error in order to let the user know that there is a mathematical error.